Hey everybody, it's Allison Schaefer here. So this is just a little preamble before my 8 o'clock start time for our Facebook Live. Just wanted to let you know that we're here. I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me. It's time to get the kids settled and grab yourself a cup of coffee. Think ahead about what some questions might be. I'm here with Catherine. Say hi, Catherine. Hi. Catherine's here. She's going to be keeping an eye on the screen for comments and making sure that you've got the right resources and links that you need that have to help the conversation move along. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew that we'd be ready for 8 o'clock. So get in, get settled. I love doing these. I'm so excited that summer is over. Can you believe that summer is over, actually? I don't know about you, but I like sweaters and I like the kids going back to school, and I am ready. Even though it was a short summer, I'm excited to be here, and this really is the beginning of what will be much more Facebook Lives. I had a good holiday myself, so we're kind of back. We're getting back on schedule. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Sarah. This is great. I'm so glad you ladies are joining me. We're just waiting till top of the hour, 8 o'clock, and then like a good digital citizen, I'm checking my checking the timer on my VCR, as you know. Hey Cheryl, welcome. Hope you guys have some questions ready for me. We're going to start at 8 o'clock, so I just wanted to make sure that the video was out to people's stream. Hey Kathy, how are you? There's so many people. Hey, hi Elaine. There's so many people I have to catch up with. This is the thing about having a good summer break. So I hope everyone has managed to get ready for back to school. Their kids are probably getting a little bit manic. So tonight, the fact that you're making time for me and for Facebook Live is really, really great. I promise I'm gonna be like just so top note, getting those tips out there and giving us a chance to talk so that you can get back to your busy family life, because I know this is a super hectic time of year. Hey, Danielle, Irina. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So people are starting to stream in here. Just another few minutes I'll wait, because I did say 8 o'clock. And I'll give sort of official welcomings there. Hi, Renee. How are you? And Danielle, yeah. Yes, I do have tips. Look, I've been working on just exactly what I need to get out to you there, so I'm glad you're there. I hope you guys are thinking about questions for me as well. As I say, I've got Catherine here. Please start putting comments in and questions right in the comment field now, because we're going to see what are interesting to people. That gives us an opportunity to go search for some resources and get some links put up there. Hi, Sylvie. So it really tells us what's important to you and gives us a sense of how we're going to structure our Q&A at the end. So you're also going to see who else is on, and it means that you guys can carry on a sidebar conversation as well. So anyway, hey Donna, how are you? Thanks people for coming and joining. I was just saying, I know it really is a busy time of the year. That week leading up to school is just super crazy for families, and there is no good time. There's no good time. But thank you. You've carved out some time for me, and I really super appreciate it. I want to make sure that I give you good value for our short time that we're together. So we're just about at the 8 o'clock. You give me the go ahead. Yeah, Catherine's like, no, you're good. You're all right. You're fine. So anyway, so thanks for being with me. I'm just gonna wet me whistle here as we get ready to cover this information. And tick, tick, tick. Who else is with us now? Hey Nicole, how are you? How are you? I'm so excited to get back to First. I miss everybody there. I miss all my communities. As much as I love my summer, I have this whole other winter life. It's like I have two lives, and I just loved seeing everybody this summer. For those people who know that everything I teach about is Adlerian psychology, I actually spent 2 weeks in Indiana at an international school talking to people from 31 different countries around the world. You know what? We've all got the same parenting problems. Doesn't matter what country we're in. It was very interesting cross-culturally. But anyways, hey Angie, how are you? Oh, thank you. Angie says she loves my books. Thank you very much. You know what? I love hearing that, because it gives me motivation to get out and write again. You know, when you write, you're just alone with your computer, and you get the feedback that you're helping, and that gives me the drive to put more posts and get more books ratings. All right, so Catherine's giving me the thumbs up. She says it's 8 o'clock. We said we were going to start at 8, and I want to be good to my word. I know time is precious. So, hey, Robert, how are you? Thank you for all your good posts. So let me just tell you a little bit about tonight and how this is going to go here on Facebook Live. This is the first of a series for my fall on Facebook Lives in a series that I'm calling Family Talk. And it is a companion piece to my video series on my YouTube channel called Family Talk, if you want to check out those resources as well. But the great thing here is that I get to be able to speak to you live, I get to round out the topics, and we actually have an opportunity to interact. So this is really a community event. Please post your questions. We also are very fortunate in that we're going to be able to offer people a survey. I love doing research. I like to see the impact that I'm having. So there's a survey as well for Canadians that have kids under 22. But don't be disappointed if you are from around the world, and I do actually have people that follow me from around the world. Anyone who posts a comment or asks a question, your name is going to go into a draw as well. So please, we've got gift cards for everyone. We really want everyone to be included and to participate. So thank you very much for showing up. I'm going to talk for the first 10 minutes on some prepared material that I want to go over. Then we're going to open it up to Q&A. But as I said, Catherine's here. She's putting up links and engaging with you folks. And please talk amongst yourselves. So don't wait till the end of the 10 minutes. But then we'll open the floor, ask questions. I'll recap how we can get involved in the draws and the survey at the end again. So let me just get started here. I really wanted this talk to fall quite specifically before the long weekend because I want to cover off 4 important tips that you need to engage with your kids in advance of this long weekend coming up. So we're going to talk about high-risk times for preventing underage drinking. That's what the entire campaign of Family Talk is about, helping parents so that they can be an active ingredient in changing their kids' behaviors and attitudes about underage drinking. So this is a key weekend coming up. So we want to identify high-risk times. I want to talk to you about how we have conversations around safety, talk about how to make a plan with your kids, and the importance of reviewing family expectations. All right? So why, starting number 1, high risk, why this weekend is a high risk weekend has to do with this concept of boredom. And I really wanted to talk to you about boredom because, I've done other posts that say, oh, it's good for kids to get bored because that's when creativity, sparks. And it is true that we don't need to hyper entertain our kids. It's a problem that we're making. And certainly kids today are overscheduled and they need downtime. If there has ever been a time where kids have needed to relax, recover, refresh, rejuvenate, and that's the summer. That's what we just had. The problem is we are going up into the long weekend, and a lot of kids have done everything that they had planned for the summer. They have done all the games, they've done all the outings, and now we've got boredom creeping in, which, like a perfect storm, is falling right before the weekend that's recognized as being a party time. It's the goodbye to all the camp counselors, and it's the party because we're going off to college and saying goodbye to their summer friends. And just as important as, say, prom or Christmas, parents need to keep an eye on the ground for when these party moments are happening so that we can be proactive in our conversations. So I'm telling you, you've got a long weekend where kids are in the theme to party, and you've got kids who are already bored. So what we need to do is to understand that when we look at the research and say, why did you drink as a minor when it's illegal? Kids will cite boredom as being the actual reason why. So while I do want kids to rest and relax because I think that's awesome, when we have too much downtime and we are just lollygagging, we don't want kids to get creative and decide they want to spark up and do something fun by underage drinking. So our job as parents is to find that thin line between rest and relaxation, and also knowing that the teen brain is wired for excitement. It literally wants to be a thrill-seeking brain at that age. That's a biological piece that happens. And so we can't sit idly by with this knowledge. We need to be proactive and say, what are we going to do this weekend to bust the boredom that's going to be thrill-seeking? And maybe this weekend, rather than underage drinking, we can go paragliding or whitewater rafting or something thrilling like that. So we need to think about what our youth are doing this weekend. Now, which leads me to topic number 2. If you're going whitewater rafting or paragliding, God bless you, go without me. But we need to have the conversation with our kids about safety, because the other thing about being a Canadian kid on the long weekend, I'm sure a lot of places around the world, kids flock to the water. It is a classic end of summer thing. Go camping, go to the park, go to the docks, go to people's islands. That's kind of a tradition. So now we have to talk about kids who potentially could underage drink, and now they're by the water, and now they're near watercrafts. And we need to repeat, we do need to say it again, that when you are under the influence, your judgment is impaired, and it means that you are not safe to operate watercraft, and neither is anyone else. It could be the dad of the person who is hosting. Do not get in that boat if the person who is operating the boat. It is not just boats. It's also jet skis. It's a chainsaw. It's anything motorized. And in fact, I would go so far as to say, under the influence, it's anything in the water. I mean, not a paddleboard, not a rowboat. Kids will say, but I'm a good swimmer. You know, it was fine. I'm a good swimmer. No, there is always a tragedy that ends up making the news when people miscalculate and think that they're above all of that. We really need to make this a tragedy-free, no alcohol incident weekend. If there is somebody that is trying to be on the water in any way, shape, or form, no alcohol involved. And so restate that for your kids so that they understand and get that message. Nothing, not a paddleboard, not a rowboat, not a dinghy, nothing. Stay out of the water. We do not want anyone to be damaged. And safety is number one in our family. We really want them to get that idea. Safety, 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 safety. Number one, please stay alive. That's every parent's goal. So that's going to take me to point number 3, which is when you actually have kids that are going into these high risk situations with boredom, and now they're around water. We know that there is an opportunity to talk with our kids proactively about the situations that could arise, and not just warn them not to do it, but to literally make a plan for what they're going to do in the inevitability that something comes up. Because when you listen to kids and when they have had a run-in with underage drinking, and you say, you know, what happened? You know, you were at the party, and why did you drink? You know, listen to what they have to say. They will say, well, you know, it was a drinking challenge, and they were going to pants anybody who didn't partake, and I didn't want to get pantsed. I was scared, you know, like I choked in the moment. Or, you know, say, well, I don't understand. Why did you, go with that guy in his car that was drinking? And they'll say, but everybody, all the other rides had left. I had no other way home. I didn't know what to do. And honestly, so many times when we listen and to our kids about what transpired that evening, you realize that they really do get themselves into predicaments that they don't know how to get out of. And so we need to help them rehearse and have expectation around things that could go wrong so that you're problem solving with them. Now, if all we do is get mad at our kids when we discover that they've been underage drinking, and if we just go to punishing them, there's no learning curve. In fact, what we're doing is we are creating distance in the relationship. We're more likely to have our kids not come to us as a resource for help, and they're more likely to be sneaky. Now we have no opportunity to have influence with our kids. So I think this is really a key piece because, we often feel so powerless in this. And in fact, we have this very important role in talking to our kids, and they will be receptive to us so long as the relationship is respectful and that we are warm and we are intimate. And I don't want to do anything ever in my parenting to ever compromise that, because I want my kids to know that I'm a respectful person whose opinions matter and that they care about my opinions. So think about what kinds of things you could do. So you get somewhere and people have been drinking and driving and your ride is compromised. Text me. I'll come get you. No questions asked. I will come get you. If somebody is trying to get in the car and they're drinking, you know what? Grab their keys. They might get mad at you. Chuck them into the forest where they can't find them till they're sober. It's about rehearsing the kinds of things. If the bottle is coming around and we ask kids, how come you didn't drink when you were offered that drink? Research will say that kids will say, because I didn't want to disappoint my parents. So we need to let them know that we do expect them to have a way to say no to that bottle coming around. So again, help them rehearse. What will you say? When that bottle's going around, what will you say? And make up something that feels really authentic and genuine to them. And that might be, no way I'm doing beer. I'm doing the paleo thing for getting on the football team. I got to keep the carbs out of the picture. Or, say, have you met my mother? No, she can smell barley in Kansas. There is no way I'm going home with a drop of liquor. You can be the fall guy. You let them save face. Often you'll find out that they really like to have an out. They don't want to drink and they're feeling pressured. They need some way to explain that and to not worry about peer rejection. So I'm okay if you want to put it on me. Whatever you arrange that's going to feel comfortable to your kids and feel real. But the important point is they won't think of it on the spot. They won't. You've got to take this time to predict what might go wrong, what situations they could be in, and help them to rehearse those answers. So make that plan. And then the last one is reviewing the family policies. And again, this really comes down to that relationship thing where parents who will often say, look, it's their peers, it's 2017, they're going to drink anyways, which is not true. The drinking age, what we're seeing is that less kids are drinking underage than before. So it is now the minority of minors who drink underage. So we are making a difference with this education. And that in fact, when we set down a limit to our kids and say, no, I'm sorry, our family is law abiding. We don't pick and choose which laws we like and don't like. This is the rules for our family, no drinking. That's our law and limit. If we say that to our kids, do they test the limits? Of course they do. It is a parent's job to set the limits. It's a child's job to test them. But if we don't set the limits, if we say just going to drink anyways, and then you start hosting house parties, you're really getting yourself into trouble. This actually serving minors alcohol in your home is against the law, and you can get a huge fine and potentially jail time. So this is very serious. You say to your kids, it's illegal, and I don't act in illegal ways. That's my value system, and I expect you to be a law-abiding citizen as well. So that when we set those limits and boundaries and we live by those limits and boundaries, yes, our kids are going to test it, but we constrain behavior regardless. And that's what we want to see. We want to see constraining behavior and acting out our values because we know it increases the likelihood of impacting our kids' behavior. So you have more power than you think. Please do not throw your hands in the air. All of this information and conversations that is going on between parents and child is making a difference in their behaviors. We are improving the societal experience of underage drinking through educating parents. So that's my mission, and that's why I'm here talking to you guys tonight. I want to make, how are we doing I've just been seeing questions flying up, but I can't, the screen is too small for these old ladies' eyes. So that's why Catherine's here. She's going to help us out with your comments. So I just want to wrap up by saying we're going to turn the conversation over to you. I want to answer your questions. I want to see what your concerns are, what things you found that have been effective for you. This is your time. But I want you to know how we are allowing you to participate. So one is, if you post a comment or post a question, you'll be entered into a draw for an Amazon $50 gift card. So please post away, get in that draw. But again, because we're conducting surveys, our survey is our way of getting research on how we are impacting parents. So it's really important to me that you participate in the survey. It really only takes we're putting up a link to the survey now. It takes less than 5 minutes. The first 100 people to complete that survey, their names will be put in a draw for a $250 Visa gift card. I don't want to frustrate people. That survey is about Canadian families, and because of that cohort, it means that it's only open to Canadians and only if you have children under 22, so up to the province's oldest drinking age. So just know that before you go in, but honestly, tick, 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 it's a very fast little survey, but it would really, really help me out. So thank you. I super appreciate it. She's got the link up there for you now. But comment away, let's ask questions, and I'll review all of that again at the end. So go ahead, Catherine, help me out here with comments and questions. What you got for me?
Okay, so Irina has a 13-year-old who is very introspective, and it's hard to get her to start talking about this stuff. Can you suggest some conversation starters that won't make it look like she's starting a lecture?
Yes. So that's always the things we want to engage in dialogue more than just be preachy, for sure. And whether you're an introvert, a lot of kids are just sort of skeptical about adults talking about things. So what I find is easier is, first of all, wait for something. Now I said it's a long weekend, so it's kind of coming up. You could wait for something to come up in the news because they're probably going to put out the warnings, so that could be something that's a springboard for a conversation. Or the other thing that I find is helpful is not to talk specifically about your child, but to talk about their cohort. So if you say things like, hey, are kids your age starting to drink now? Are you finding that booze is showing up at parties? right? Because now you're not saying, are you drinking? Or you can say, hey, I've been hearing that, that the long weekend is like a high risk time for underage drinking. Are your kids talking about that? Is that is that trending? My kids don't like it when I try to use any kind of hip talk like that. But you might find that talking about the whole cohort of people will get them going, And again, it's about not going on in a huge amount of time. It's about these little touch points, these little tidbits, and saying, I trust you to be safe. I trust you to manage yourself. Is there anything you need to know? If that bottle comes around, you got a good response. Yeah. What do you think of saying? Did you need any help with that? Just get in, get out. Then you can wait for the next opportunity so that it doesn't feel like a drawn out diatribe. Yeah.
Karen says, my kids aren't quite the drinking age yet, but I keep hearing about parents with underage kids who are supplying alcohol at their homes because they figured it's more controlled and they know what's going on. Is this rational in any way? And how do parents keep their kids away from these homes?
Yeah, I agree that we've got a problem with that. And that's why I really wanted to get that content piece out, that those parents probably are completely unaware that by choosing to serve minors in their home, they're putting themselves at risk for fines and potential imprisonment. It's a big deal. And you got to know the thing about youth drinking is they're not necessarily very smart. So it's pretty easy for something to go wrong, even with parental supervision. I just think it's incredibly risky. So I think we share that information with our kids and just say, some parents feel this way. Let me tell you why I don't agree with it and why I think they're making that mistake. And that's not an environment that I would ever have in my home. And what I would say is I can't protect my kids from every environment. I have to go with the understanding that my kids are going to be exposed to alcohol being consumed. And rather than changing the whole world, I got to make my child inoculated so that when they're in those situations, they know how to conduct themselves. My job is to parent my kid. So, if it was somebody that I knew and I could pick up the phone and just say, hey, I understand you're hosting a party. I want you to understand there's like potential fines and jail term. I just, because many parents will say, whoa, bury the lead. I had no idea. Had I known that, I wouldn't have done this. And again, I have the research behind me that actually shows that when we say no, we reduce the incidence of underage drinking, that we do make a difference. So this throwing our hands in the air as if we don't have power is incorrect. We need to get that message out to parents, not the better supervise it. I think that's really the wrong way to go. Yeah. Yes, Catherine.
Okay. My oldest is entering grade 5, but I know that there are kids in grade 6 and grade 7 at his school that are already starting to experiment drinking. Does this seem early? What's the right age to be talking about this stuff?
Oh, what's the right age? So, what we know is that the likelihood of somebody drinking as a minor increases with each year that approaches the legal drinking age. So we know that is true. This is anecdotal, what I'm going to say to you now, but I know that the stuff that really became problematic as my kids were going through adolescence actually happened at the beginning of adolescence. That's when the stupidity happened. That's where the kids were, not my kids, thank goodness, getting their stomachs pumped in the hospital because they're like downing a 24 vodka and they have no idea about anything about alcohol consumption, and they make really bad decisions for themselves. And thankfully, the only reason why I got involved in those kinds of things, and that was grade 7, and now we're talking, my kids are now in their 20s, so that was just that much longer ago. But the reason why I got involved is because I was known as the parent who was non-punitive and who was helpful. And so when they texted and said, like, we're in a pickle, I was the one to be called. So I say that not to pat myself on the back. I say that because that's exactly the status you want with your kids. You want to be a safe person for people to reach out when they have made a mistake. And so that means every time we've got a child that's bringing us something that is scary to report. Okay, that could just be a C- on a report card. That could be that they broke the neighbor's window with the baseball playing. Anytime your kid comes to you with something like that, the first thing out of your mouth is to say, thank you for telling me. That took a lot of courage. And then we've got to use non-punitive tactics in order to have consequences, but in order to do the teaching piece so that the relationship stays intact. That's really what's going to end up making the difference. So yes, if you've got kids that are in grade 5, you need to be talking about this. It's the depth of conversation, the complexity of the conversation that changes over time. But even a child who's 5 years old, if they're seeing things on the news or they're seeing people at a party, and people do silly things like offer little kids beers at barbecues, and it's like that, they're right there. That's an opportunity to say, no, I'm sorry, that is a drink for adults, and when you're an adult, you can have that too. Enough said. That's alcohol education for a minor, starting at 4. Yeah.
Okay. Leanna says, my daughter is going to her boyfriend's cottage this weekend for the first time. He is 18 but has an older brother who is legal drinking age. The parents will be there, but I worry there may be temptation to experiment with beer.
Yeah. And there will be. And that's why this is so timely. So I have to tell a personal story. I have permission for my kids to always share their personal stories. But I had to drop my daughter off at a birthday party that was taking place in the summer. And the mom had the opinion that it was okay if it was a supervised party and had counted out a certain amount of beers. And I said, no, actually, she's a minor. That's not okay with us. So, thanks for checking it out. And she's, oh, okay, thanks. I'm glad I asked. And I did not say, get in the car, you're not going to this party. I said, have a good time, off you go. And my daughter will say that faith in her, that faith that she could go into that environment and to manage herself was everything to her. And she said, I never wanted to ever do anything to erode your trust. That was one of the most important values in the relationship for her. So yeah, you know that there's a likelihood. So now's the opportunity to sit down and say, hey, listen, it's probably going to be there. There's people of legal drinking age. It's going to be going around. Are you all set? Because, we expect you to live by the family rule of being a law-abiding citizen and passing up on underage drinking. It's against the law. So are you set? Do you want to practice your lines when it comes around? But I would not ban them from going. I really don't believe in cleaning up life for our kids. We prepare them for life. We don't rearrange life. So they need to face that reality, and knowing that you've trusted them, huge. Yeah.
Time for one more?
Yeah, sure, I have time for one more.
Okay. So Amber wants to know what happens when you know an irresponsible parent, a friend who has said, I'd rather the kids drink it here, I'm going to let them try, even if they're underage.
So I just reiterating that if you know them well, I would just say, I just feel like I need to disclose something to you because so many people do not realize the implications of the risk that you're taking yourself. So I would definitely just share that information. Whether or not they change their mind and do it or don't do it, that's up to them. That's kind of none of your business. Then you can decide with your child, if they say, that really is a bothersome behavior for me. I don't know if I like you in that environment. Some kids are going to be like, yeah, I don't want to go anyways. So that might be fine. But if they're set on going, it's really the same thing as saying, you're going into a highly volatile situation, and I need you to be prepared for how you're going to handle yourself around that. How will you stay safe? How will you, whatever your planning is, how will you say no? What's your line for that? How are you going to get home safely? Can I pick you up? You want to check in by FaceTime so I know everything's fine. I want to empower that child to be in an environment where they themselves, and many kids will say, it's not fun being the sober person in a room full of drunk people either. So I want to encourage people to say there's other ways to have a good time. There's other parties going on. We can host a party that's just as fun with different activities that does not involve entertainment through alcohol. There's many cultures around the world where alcohol is not at all a part of their cultural celebrations, and they have lots of fun. So we have to stop telling kids that the only way to have fun and the only way for a party to be a fun party is that they're alcohol. That's just absolute that's just not right. It's just not right. We can have fun without it. So maybe you host the counterparty. So that's my opinion and advice on that. So I promised I'd make this short and sweet. We're going to be back September 13th. We're going to be talking about sending our kids off to college. So what do you do when you ultimately have no supervision of our kids? How do we make sure from a distance that our kids are safe? Because we still have an important parenting role. It does not end when you ship them out the door, as you know. A lot of kids are doing Frosh Week right now. So we'll be back on September 13th to talk about that. So just to recap, if you've posted a question or a comment, jump in that comment section below, because we're going to be doing a draw, and someone's going to win a $50 Amazon gift card. If you're a Canadian participant and you are parents of kids under the age of 22, then there's an opportunity to participate in the survey. First 100 people to complete the survey, and I've done the survey, honestly, it's 3 minutes. It's very fast. If you complete the survey, your name will be put into a draw, and we're giving away a $250 Visa gift card for the first 100 people that complete that survey. So get in, get fast, get it done, and thank you. I will continue to read your comments and post some more resources, but I'm going to sign off now. This will reside on my Facebook page in the archive, so if you want to go back and watch it again, watch it with your partner, put it on your timeline because you want that friend that serves minors to hear this information from the expert, that would be great too. You can share it, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.